It's Monday Night Football. Dun, 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 dun. Bucs at Houston. First of a doubleheader, 7 p.m. Eastern. And boy, oh boy, I can hardly wait. I'll say this about the Bucs and national TV games. When I say national, I mean like primetime games. Not so good under Todd Bowles. Waiting for their first win. Their next win will be their first win in primetime. That's not good.
No, not good at all. And it's, look, this team has Super Bowl aspirations.
Yes, they do.
And they've had for a couple of years. They have to fix that because you know what? Winter playoff games generally played.
Yeah, primetime. Last time I checked. Yeah.
Yes. And, you want to get to where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
You want to possibly get a bye, get the number 1 seed, get better seeding instead of the 4 seed.
Right.
Which is what they've had the last few years as division champs. Like, you've got to win some of these games.
Yes.
They're not easy, and this one's on the road.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make it easier, but you've got to perform better in primetime than what they have the last few years.
And I think what happens, a couple things about primetime games. Typically, they're good to great matchups. That's why they're on primetime. Is it people feel like the networks feel like that's a good game, and so a lot of times you're playing a team like I don't know the Eagles or somebody like that. The Texans aren't really in that category, but in the beginning of the season, I think people thought they would be pretty good. We'll find out. They lost their first game. Obviously, they have a lot of injuries on the offensive line. And there's really nothing, you end up with these questions like, well, what do you guys do during the day? You're going to change your routine? No, we're just going to go out and play. I mean, it's a long day for everybody, although not as long with the 7:00 start. And there's a lot of downtime. And, if you talk to certain players, they don't want to get, too keyed up and thinking about the game right away. Because if you start it, when you wake up at 6 a.m., it's just becomes a kind of a grind for you. But the biggest thing is that they've been a good but not great football team. And you go back and you remember the games they lost in prime time, like to Kansas City, where it came down to a coin toss. You would like to see Todd Bowles be more aggressive there and not leave it to overtime. There's been some really close games they've lost. They could have gone either way. So I don't think there's an ESPN jinx or anything like that, or ABC jinx or NBC or whatever network that it's on that particular time. I just think they played some good teams. They haven't always played well, and some of those games are close, and some of them just weren't. But
you mean regardless, he's not going to give the Deion Sanders excuse?
What was that, by the way? I was trying to follow his logic, and it made no sense to me. They practice.
He says his team loses night games after being asked why his team came up short after a good week of prep. Mentioned that Colorado's a morning practice team, but you can't blame the time. So,
I mean, you just did kind of. And furthermore, if you need to adjust your practice times, feel free. It's your practice times.
Although, in theory, the kids do have class, and maybe they have afternoon classes, so maybe it's not
that's
that easy,
true.
But
yeah, maybe it's not. But doesn't everybody kind of deal with the same stuff?
Yes.
I mean, it's not like they got some secret class schedules, at other universities that they're using, and Colorado can't. But yeah, the Colorado that they do not look good, and I think they still need a quarterback, and they're playing like 3 of them. So tells you they probably don't have one. We'll get into college football, and boy, oh boy, University of Florida and DJ Lagway got a lot of work to do. But continuing on with the Bucs at Houston, I think this is going to be obviously an interesting game. But watching Houston in Week 1 against the Rams, they've got some issues on offense, particularly on the offensive line, and they're beat up even more, I believe, this week. So I think the Bucs will have an advantage up front on their offense in terms of just, perhaps stopping the run. I mean, they did a good job against Atlanta, obviously. Nick Chubb has always been a thorn in their side when he played for the Cleveland Browns. He's had some good games against them. And as far as CJ goes, he's got weapons to throw to. I mean, he's got guys to throw to. Nico Collins is a really good receiver. Christian Kirk is out, so you're looking at guys like Justin Watson, who used to be a Buck. Tank Dell is out. He's a guy that really hurt them. In fact, it was Tank Dell. If you remember the last time they played in Houston, is one of their epic collapses and the worst loss, I think, in the Todd Bowles era. They were up. They scored late. The Bucs scored with about 46 seconds to go to take I think a 3 or 4 point lead. and must have been 4 because the Texans came right back to C.J. Stroud, and within about 40 of those 46 seconds, he had him in the end zone. They lost the game, and it was devastating because you saw Jamel Dean get beat a bunch of times. There were big chunk plays in the passing game down the stretch. I mean, obviously C.J. Stroud had to go for it. He couldn't dink and dunk with 46 seconds and no timeouts. And they made it look easy. And we were talking to Mike Evans this week about it, and he goes, that might have been the most mad I think I've been after a loss, because he goes, I'm back home. I got all these people there that I bought tickets for. He goes, and I've seen all these number 13 jerseys. And he goes, we had it. In fact, I think, if memory serves, Mike had about 89 yards receiving that day, but one was a 50-yarder, and I think it was at the end of the game to set up the game-winning touchdown. The go-ahead touchdown. They didn't win the game, but had they won the game, it was a go-ahead touchdown. It was Cade Otton. But I think Mike had kind of monster plays in that game, and then they wind up losing anyway. So, you never know. I mean, it's 2 back-to-back road games, obviously. And the Texans, the one thing we do know about them is they can play defense now. The Rams beat them, but they only had 14 points. But when you've got edge rushers like Will Anderson Jr., Danielle Hunter, even inside with Sheldon Rankins, I mean, that's a formidable front 4. And then they're good on the back end as well in the secondary. So this will be a grinded out type of game again. I would think that, in talking to Josh Grizzard, he admitted he was, a little bit nervous, but, trying to get the run game established. I'll try to do that again. They never really got it going in Atlanta. When Baker Mayfield's your leading rusher, it's not a good day as far as moving people goes. We think, as far as the injuries are concerned, that Luke Gedeke will play. He is questionable for the game. He practiced one time on Saturday, I believe it was, and he was limited. And so right now he's sitting on the injury report as questionable. I tend to think that the fact that he did get out there 1 or 2 days, depending on how, everything responded after that work, I expect him to start and play. That's when you finish a game, like he finished the entire game in week 1, that's usually a pretty good sign that, yeah, you're going to be a really sore guy, but it's not necessarily something that's debilitating. But we'll see. They could potentially have 4 offensive linemen in different positions than what they started training camp in. Only Cody Mauk would be that guy that's still playing his same position. So I expect Graham Barton and them to be better the second week. It was kind of a fire drill. Week 1 they managed to protect Baker pretty well. He was only sacked 1 time. But look, they've got to have a better day. I mean, Baker ended up with 3 touchdowns. Great day by Emeka Egbuka, but they were slow getting started. And if you ask me, I kind of think that the offense was in many ways a little too predictable at times. Josh Grizzard probably looked more like Dave Canales than Liam Cohen from that aspect. So you may have to kind of throw some quick passes to loosen up, the Texans defense somewhat. The best way to slow those pass rushers down, of course, is to run the ball right at them. And so that's why Bucky Irving and Rashad White and those guys need to have big days. I have no feel for these games. I'm watching the games all on week 2, Steve. It's really hard to predict this early in the season who's any good. I mean, I think I know who's good, right? But Kansas City's 0-2, right? There's other teams like the Cardinals that are 2-0. I don't know how good they are. I really don't. So,
well, there's also, Kansas City, let's look at their competition the first 2 weeks. I mean, today they played Philadelphia, the defending champs.
Yeah, rematch of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and granted they didn't look that great, but they also
had them in their
Eagles
building,
much.
though.
By the way, did you see those tush pushes that the Eagles did?
Yes.
Their guards are offside on every one of them, or false starts.
Yes, false starts, and they didn't drop the flag, and everybody saw it.
And why is that not reviewable? If you want to get everything correct and you're going to have replay, why is that? It was clear and obvious. It was an easy penalty call, like on review. Like there's no reason.
I think they should do that.
That play's going to get outlawed next year.
They had a chance to get rid of it this year. They only needed like 1 or 2 more votes, and and I'm not sure how the Bucs voted, but I know Todd Bowles' reaction to it was, he thought it was almost unfair that a team is so good at something that was perfectly legal that you then outlaw it because no one can stop it. That was his concern. So ultimately, I don't know how the Bucs voted, but I gotta believe they probably voted not to ban it. I know it's hard to say, but it's going to get banned. I mean, there's too much momentum for it not to, and I don't know why. I really don't know why they just didn't get it done before this season. Because I don't like the play, and it is a huge advantage for the Eagles. And maybe that's the reason people don't like it unless you're an Eagles fan. Maybe they're just so good at it. I also think they cheat. I think the center moves the ball. I think they're moving. It's very hard to detect when everybody's in a scrum like that. That's why it's not football. It looks like rugby. So
yeah, I just don't like the play. Like whether the Eagles have an advantage or any other team, like to me, it's just not an exciting play. It's not fun. It's just
no. It's a scrum.
Yeah, I mean, is that really what we want football to become?
No, I don't. If I want that, I'll watch rugby. I'll watch some other sport.
Yeah.
You know. And now more than ever, I don't know how many games I watched. No one's punting the ball anymore. Virtually no one. You have to be pinned back so far because if you get to fourth down and you're like at the plus 40, they're going for it every time.
Yep.
Like it's become insane that way. You know, I saw teams turn down field goals that, would have really helped their cause. And so many of them, went for it on 4th and 1 and ended up turning the ball over on downs. Like, get the points, man. So one thing Tom Brady told me, it's about points. It's a race to 30. Who can get to 30 points first? And if you can get to 30, you're probably going to win the game. So especially early on, take the field goals. And then there's the field goal kickers, which I saw a lot of misses, right?
Well, maybe that's why they're not kicking field goals.
That might be why they have no faith in these guys, right?
Man, this is the year of the field goal kicker stink.
Isn't it? Like, what has happened here?
Like, just a year or two ago, it was like, man, they never miss.
No one missed, right?
Now they all miss. Like, what did they put like
swerve
ball? They put something in the ball that swerves more or something, or
I don't know. There's some duck hooks going on though, and then you have a guy like the guy in Dallas, who kicks it a mile for game winners and stuff.
Nailed a 60. That game was nuts.
That game was crazy. Russell Wilson threw for about 4,000 yards and about 5 touchdowns, and they didn't win.
He gets a Hail Mary with 20 seconds left, but then they give up the field goal. Like, just craziness.
Yeah. No, that was nuts. Buffalo went big. I think Josh Allen hurt his nose, but he's okay.
Well, that's better than hurting your toe.
Yeah. Your boy Joe Burrow, man. I cannot believe, of all the quarterbacks. I mean, I love watching Josh Allen play. Patrick Mahomes, certainly. I don't think there's a quarterback I love better than Joe Burrow for what he does and what he represents and for what he has around him. Like, if you put Joe Burrow on some of these other teams, I think he'd have won a couple Super Bowls by now. But for whatever reason, and now he's snake bit. Right now, it just feels like at times he's just snake bit. They get off to a 2-0 start. That's been the big emphasis, right? And then he ends up with some kind of freakish toe injury where he may require surgery, turf toe eventually, which is a ligament damage.
Yep.
But man, I mean, you have surgery and have to miss 2 or 3 months. You're coming back in December, if you're lucky.
Yep.
If they can hold the fort down.
Well, Jake Brown a couple years ago went 4-3 when they came in, which is much of the reason why the Buccaneers have Teddy Bridgewater as your backup quarterback now instead of Kyle Trask.
Absolutely.
If something happened to Baker, you're just trying to keep going, get to the playoffs, figure it out for however length of time your starter's out.
That's right.
And that's why they went and signed a veteran with playing experience, I should say.
That's exactly why they did it. Yeah.
But I've seen the memes with Joe Burrow. There are 100 million obese people in America, and the Bengals can't find 5 to block for Joe Burrow.
I mean, he takes a beating, man. Every year he does this. Usually doesn't knock him out necessarily. But now they finally get off to a decent start. They're 2-0, and now you lose your quarterback. It's beyond the pale, actually. I don't know. Kansas City's 0-2.
I was going to say, they're 2-0 thanks
2014.
Yeah, but the Bengals are 2-0 thanks to Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence having issues.
Oh, my God. All right, so what was your take on Liam saying, just put it on him? He's meant a throw. Just put the ball on him instead of leading him or whatever. And then Trevor very dismissively literally waves him off like, the old man is wrong. You know what I mean? Woo, that was not a good look for either side, man.
Nope. No more trouble in paradise in Jacksonville. I mean,
I'll go figure. I mean, does that mean that Trevor has a problem already with Liam Cohen?
The question is it really a problem or just in the heat of a moment? Like, is it really a problem? And we won't know that yet.
Right.
I mean, there are times tempers get on the field, and I mean, you've seen Tom Brady screaming at wide receivers and coaches, and does Tom Brady not like the coach? Probably not. It's just the heat of the moment, right?
Right.
So is there a problem? But this is what Trevor Lawrence's third head coach in Jacksonville.
Yes, it is.
And we know that he and Urban didn't really fit together very well. Doug Peterson seemed to be better with it, but they didn't have the success. So it's hard to tell yet, but not a good look.
No, not a good look at all. You want to see the buy-in. You don't want to see a coach or a player getting shown up on national TV. And frankly, they should have won that game. I thought they should have won that game.
Well, you knocked Joe Burrow out.
Yeah, you got to find a way.
The backup quarterback throws 3 interceptions, and you still can't win the game?
Exactly. Exactly right. I mean, that was cataclysmic in some ways. Just terrible. Pittsburgh, Aaron Rodgers looked like he was going to have another good day. Not so fast, my friend.
Did you see it was Caleb Johnson on the kickoff?
Oh, just left it there like a college player.
Yep.
Yeah.
Didn't know the rules or forgot the rules or whatever.
Clearly, he wasn't coached up. You don't forget those if you're got a good special teams or a head coach. I mean, Mike, you got to do. You can't have that happen. Like that was the dumbest thing in the world. Absolutely ridiculous. Like you just leave the ball there. Hey man, live ball, touchdown, other team. Is that going to have a factor in the game? Not. That's not where you want to have the teaching moment about the rules and the differences between college football and pro football. But that's what happened. So Pittsburgh, they go to 1-1. I don't know what other games. Bears Lions, man. The Bears gave up over 50 points again. And the Lions look like the Lions, not like they did a week ago. But I think Jared Goff threw for about 5,000 yards and 5 touchdowns.
I think much like the Chiefs, that's the level of competition you're playing. Last week, the Lions played the Packers.
Yeah, that's true.
On the road. This week, it was the Bears at home. Like, big difference. And it showed.
Sure did. That was brutal. I can't put it all on Caleb when your defense gives up 52, although he made some bad throws.
But a win for tonight for the Bucs, and we know that the Saints are 0-2.
Saints are 0-2. Carolina's 0-2. And you could have, depending on the outcome of this game, as we're doing this podcast, Atlanta's playing at Minnesota. Imagine if they were to lose. You could have every team in the division 0-2 and could have an opportunity to take a 2-game lead on the entire division with a game at hand against Atlanta. That's about as good as you could hope for. Now, they've gotten up to 3-1 starts the last 2 years, obviously, under Todd Bowles, and it's been the middle of the season, the midseason swoon that's gotten them, losing 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 7. Mm-hmm. So they definitely need to avoid that. But another fast start, considering that you don't have Tristan Wirfs, that you're not going to have Chris Godwin. Both those guys are out for tonight's game, like we've been telling you, and it's official. To try to weather this storm, no Jalen McMillan, like I mentioned, no Chris Godwin. I think if you can go 3-1 again for the third straight season, which is possible, right? You got the Jets coming in here next week for the home opener, and then we'll see what they do with Philadelphia, which I don't think this team is afraid of Philadelphia, but if they don't have their offensive line back, and that's the other question, like somebody was asking me, well, like realistically, when do you think Wirfs will be back? And it's like, realistically, I don't think till October. Like, some people are like, well, maybe he comes back against the Jets. I don't think so. I don't think he's going to rush it. I think he's really being, deliberate about what boxes he has to check to feel comfortable that thing's going to make him, all pro level tackle. Now, can something change? Sure, it could. Yeah. He can feel better. But
the one good thing facing Philly is that they've not thrown the ball well this year.
No,
the Bucs are good against the run.
That's right.
So, I mean, Jalen Hurts and his receiving core have struggled. I mean, they've run the ball pretty well enough to win 2 games. Their defense has done a lot of it.
Right.
But, Philly may be the best team in the NFC, but their strengths play to the Bucs' strengths as well. So I think it's a good matchup.
Yeah, it is. It's a great match, and they're not afraid of Philly. Like they've beaten them down here before, even in years where Philly was good.
Yep.
So I think they feel like they have the type of players that can do that. The game is in Tampa, so that will help. But it's coming up, and that's why getting this one at Houston would be big, and then coming back against the Jets, they got throttled a little bit. Justin Fields can run around and do some stuff. So I'm not sure what this team is, and I don't think any of us will know until or unless you get their pieces back, until you get, Tristan Wirfs at left tackle and everybody moves back to their normal positions. Having Chris Godwin would be such a bonus if he can be Chris Godwin. To think you could have 2 receivers that are drawing, some single coverage, that's pretty daunting, and a running back that's, show some promise. I don't think points will eventually be an issue with this team if they stay healthy, but they're all playing out of position. And they're going against a pretty stout defense. So one of the top 5 defenses in football.
Yep. Which is why, too, and we don't know the Atlanta-Minnesota outcome. Atlanta's up right now, but still plenty of time left. But if Atlanta loses to the Vikings and the Bucs were to win tonight in Houston, having a 2-game lead in the division, without Wirfs, without Godwin.
Oh, my God.
Both those wins on the road.
And, a game in hand against Atlanta,
right.
division.
A game in hand, I mean, that's huge. And so if you stub your toe against the Jets or the Eagles or whatever else, that's just huge this early in the year. If
you got some house money. Yeah.
Atlanta may win tonight, and
they might.
It may only be a 1-game lead if you win, but.
Yeah. I don't think Atlanta is going anywhere, whether they win or not. They just strike me as a team with that quarterback who I really respect. I think Michael Penix Jr. is really good. He's still learning on the job, obviously, but he's an accurate passer. He makes good decisions. Got a little bit of athleticism. Right now he's outplaying J.J. McCarthy. I think McCarthy's kind of off to another sort of blah start. Yep. We'll see what happens, because last week McCarthy had like the crazy fourth quarter where I think he scored 3 touchdowns and put the team on his back. If he does that again, then great. But they started out as a field goal kicking contest, which in this league, probably not a great way to go. There's been some great field goal kicks. Like, how about the guy at Dallas?
Aubrey, the 64-yarder?
Oh, my God. What a bomb that was. That was a crazy game.
I really believe
we're going to sign Jadeveon Clowney. Okay, good. Good for you, Jerry. Go sign Jadeveon. What is this, like his 10th team? Guy's like 40. I still remember his biggest claim to fame was knocking the helmet off a dude in the Outback Bowl.
Yep.
Just crushed him. I don't know. Look, win, lose, or draw, the Bucs will still be in this thing. I still think that they're one of the top teams in the NFC. I definitely think they're the best team in the NFC South right now. I don't put it past Atlanta to string some wins together here. We'll see what they do in Minnesota, but at some point, Penix is good enough with those weapons, and Bijan Robinson's a beast. They've got players now. So I think that they're going to hit their stride at some point. They still have the Carolinas, the New Orleanses. They got bad football teams on their schedule too, because they play in the South. So they're not going to go away. I think they'll hang in there, but it would be, really advantageous for the Bucs to take the lead on them. Going to talk about the end of a season, in my opinion, and that's with the Tampa Bay Rays in just a second. But first, get on down to Breitling Boutique International Plaza Mall. I've been telling you about this place. These folks sell the best Swiss watches anywhere in the world. The Breitling company has been in business now for, over 140 years. They've been at International Plaza Mall for more than 5 years. Now, if you want to find them, go to the center of the mall. It's upstairs, second floor. That's where you're going to find Breitling Boutique and the best customer service ever. You'll see a lot of their customers are celebrities and pro athletes, maybe some Buccaneers or two. But they're going to treat you just like that, just like the celebrity that you are. They're going to tell you about their beautiful watches, the chronomats, the Navitimers for men, women's watches. These are sports watches. They're beautiful. They're durable. And They come in an array of different colored wristbands. And while supplies last, they've been celebrating the NFL's 104th year anniversary with special anniversary team watches. All 32 teams in the NFL, 32 different watches, chronomat watches that are just absolutely a collector's item. And this is all, by the way, while supplies last. This is not unlimited at all. It's Breitling Boutique, International Plaza Mall. When you go, make sure you tell them that they heard about it right here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. Is it time to finally give the Rays season last rites? I mean, they did just lose 4 out of 6 in Chicago, and that included losing 2 of 3 to the White Sox, who were the worst team. I think we're done, right? I mean, we're finally done. They're running out of games, I think.
So the Rays have 13 games to go. If they win all 13 games, they'll get to 85 wins.
Yeah, that's maybe not enough for a wild card, right?
Well, they're chasing the Astros, who are now the third wild card because the Mariners have passed them.
Right, so but Astros, 6.5 back, are they not?
7.5 back.
7.5, jeez.
The Astros already have 81 wins. Now, they have 12 games to play. So 5 wins, and even if the Rays go perfect, they're eliminated for the Astros out of 12. But that's also assuming that Cleveland or Kansas City or Texas don't have even more. Even if the Astros went, 1-11, let's say.
Yeah.
Because you have so many teams to jump over. They're not mathematically eliminated yet.
Right.
But they're eliminated.
Yeah, we don't have a tragic number, magic number, or whatever that is. But, yeah, it's not going to happen, folks. It's not going to happen this year. And I saw Fairbanks, and this is with the one win they got. Fairbanks comes in, and I swear to you, he threw 7 or 8 straight pitches all out of the strike zone. Just
you and I were texting back and forth. I'm like, that's like the 10U baseball games I go to on the weekend.
It's just like the kids, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it was unbelievable. It's like, hey, Pete, do you play this game for a living? Like, they pay you, right? Like to throw it over that white dish back there.
Was it too cold there, or what was it?
I don't know. I mean, it is getting a little frosty in parts of the country, I suppose, but geez Louise.
He's had a rough last month or two.
He really has, right? Blown saves and just not good.
Home runs given up.
Home runs, yeah. The bullpen, I think when they do the analysis on this season, they're going to find a lot of fingerprints, from the bullpen.
I think it's the starters, too. I mean, they didn't live up to, outside Rasmussen, not one starter really lived up to what you hoped they were going to do. And you thought you were going to get McClanahan back, too. But
well, and I think, and then you didn't. And I think that has an impact in a weird way. Yeah. I think your ace needs to be the ace, and then everybody follow him. And when he didn't come back, I think they were exposed. I really do.
But Pepio didn't have the season you hoped. Boz didn't have the season you hoped.
No, that's true. You're true about all that. That's
Taj Bradley, they demoted and traded
him. Yeah. No.
Littell would probably exceeded your expectations, but you traded him because you were going to lose him at the end of the year.
Right. True.
But the starting pitching is just as much as the bullpen. It maybe even more. I mean, you get yourself down in games, it's hard.
It is hard to come back.
Starting pitching. Now, the big swoon they had in the middle, after the 25-9, really kind of started with the bullpen blowing some leads.
That's true.
And they had a really rough week or two there where it seemed like every game they were giving up the leads. But yeah, as much as you could complain about the offense a little bit, and Josh Lowe didn't hit what you expected, and a lot of injuries outfield. The pitching was actually what's to blame for this team, which is what's weird for the Rays, because that's typically not the case.
Well, their DNA is pitching and defense, and I thought they played pretty good defense, but yeah, the pitching just never really got untracked. Once they got going, they didn't have. It was unusual in the sense that they didn't have a lot of injuries, to the rotation that they ran out there.
Yeah.
They traded Taj, so he was part of that, but Rasmussen and, Boz and all those guys were pretty much every 5 days. So they got to pitch a lot of innings, and we got to see them. And to your point, they just may not be all that great, wasn't what you expected going in, and they certainly didn't perform that way. So what do? You start looking for pitching, obviously. But how about Junior Caminero? You want a bright spot? There's one for you. Just 2 home runs now away from tying Carlos Pena for the franchise lead, franchise record, actually.
Yeah, he's 13 RBI away from Pena's club record as well, with 13 games to play. So,
yeah, it's insane what that kid has done.
Yeah, 44 and 108.
Jeez, man. I mean, think of the guy turned 22 during the season. He was 21 years old when this spring training began, and he went out there and hung that. I mean, come on, man. The game is supposed to be hard. I mean, it really is. It is not an easy game. You're not supposed to get up there and just first time out of the box whack 44 home runs.
I saw someone tweeted this the other day, Just Baseball.
Right.
So I'm going to assume it's correct. It says most home runs by a player in their age 21 season or younger. Number one's Eddie Matthews in 1953 with 47 home runs.
Heard of him, yeah.
Number two is Junior Caminero with 44 this year.
That's stupid. That's stupid. You're in there with Eddie Matthews, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I said, I'm going to assume that's correct. I didn't verify that, but
I'm sure it is. They worked those pretty hard.
Even if there's a couple other people in there still, that's still crazy. Like,
yep. No, it definitely is. But I mean, I think it's fair to say at this point, because of the math that you just gave, that this was a lost season. It was weird from the start. It's going to be remembered for its degree of difficulty, whether that's playing outside, the travel, some guys living in St. Pete, traveling over, like
just even being in a home park that's not a home park. I mean,
that's not really yours. Yeah,
I mean, you're not used to it. You don't like the comforts, the commute, everything that goes a part of it. Like, there's just so much stuff.
You're displaced, and they weren't able to do what other people thought they could do, because you pay lip service to it, but it's difficult. So, see where they're putting the panels on the trop now. I saw a couple of them went up there.
Let's just hope a hurricane doesn't come through and do any damage.
Well, that's the issue, and I think that's one of the issues with respect to where they want to locate the stadium, which I am now convinced will be in Hillsborough County. I'm not sure where. There's a lot of candidates for that, including, and don't disregard this, Hillsborough Community College.
Yeah.
Which, can you imagine that scenario where you'd have a brand new Rays stadium down the street from Raymond James?
And Steinbrenner.
And Steinbrenner, correct.
That's the weirder part. I mean, having a football and baseball stadium next to each other happens a lot of cities. Like, that's not uncommon at all. But to have your major league and then your rival's minor league complex next door, like that's
I gotta believe that if they do that they make the Yankees go away somehow. I don't know what they'd have to give them, but I don't see that lasting. I could be wrong. And the Yankees were extremely generous to let him play there as it was, and they paid him umpteen millions of dollars for that privilege. But I'll have to have those conversations, man. Yeah. I really don't.
I mean, that was always the concern years ago of moving to Hillsborough County was, what do you do with the Yankees at that point?
Right? Yeah, sure.
And no one's really talked about that now.
Nope. But they're talking about a lot of that land that they're on, including what's, just south of Raymond James. I mean, I think in a perfect world, and whether this is doable or not, the Glazers would like to say, we're taking everything, north of Spruce, whatever that road is through there. And we're going to have a mixed-use development, and along with our stadium, we're going to try to do it the way the Atlanta Braves and everyone else has done it, But still a long way to go. Long way to go. And I actually, for as much as people cried about outdoor baseball, and we certainly saw plenty of outdoor baseball, but I don't know, I'm almost like you're romanticizing about what it was like to be back in the Trop. I mean, as a fan anyway, at least you knew what to expect. And I know the players probably love being outdoors, but at this point, I don't know. Like to have a home ballpark for sure. So I think, look, they're done. I think everybody knows it. I don't care what position you're talking, or what state they're in as far as mathematics and things like that go. They're done. They're circling the drain, and that's a shame because there's a lot of expectations this year. Just didn't work out. Well,
I think the bigger
predominantly,
question is, will they finish above 500? Last year, of course, they finished 80 and 82.
yeah, just below it. I don't know that they will.
They're 3
Steve.
games under 500 now, which means to get there, they've got to go 8 and 5 the rest of the way.
Yeah, I don't know
get
that
to
you would
500.
predict that. I think
Yeah.
they're at best a 500 team, and I don't see them winning 8 out of the next 13. I don't, and in that case, you get what you deserve, I suppose. They had their chances, they had their moments, but and there's obviously some bright spots in terms of players, my God. A lot of new players in here this year that performed well.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll get into it more. We'll probably have Mark Topkin on once the season ends.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, once Mark gets back from Chicago, where he spent about 6 days. My kind of town. My kind of town. That's a great trip. If you can do the White Sox and then the Cubs back to back.
Yep.
Oh boy, that's fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you, schedule makers, for sure. No doubt about that. And then finally, college football this weekend wasn't as exciting as the previous week, and that's probably because the teams that you probably root for or like or what have you, when I say you, I mean the collective listening audience, didn't do so well. Miami is a much better football team than Boise State or Florida rolled into one. And, clearly that had an impact on the USF Bulls.
As Matt Baker would say, they got dudes.
They got dudes and dudes on top of dudes. And all I had to see was very early in the game, and I was kind of looking at the stats or the measurables, and Miami's offensive line was massive.
Yep.
And USF's defensive line is not. If Miami averaged 325 across the offensive line, then I would say USF was probably around 270, 275. And brother, if you're giving up that much weight and power to start a game, it's definitely going to wear on you. They hung in there, for a while. But Miami's ranked 3 for a reason. I think they're one of the best teams in college football.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think they are. And it's surprising, although, you lose Cam Ward, number 1 overall draft pick, but you get Carson Beck coming in.
Sure.
They have a huge NIL payroll.
Mm-hmm.
Which, some Power 4 teams don't, as we've seen, like UCLA. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And how about two coaches have been fired already this season?
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. You sent that to me, and I thought, so Billy Napier's gone?
No, he's
my
still
mind
there.
went right there.
Deshaun Watson at UCLA, and then the guy at Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Deshaun.
The crazy thing is the transfer portal opens for those players now. They can go anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
They can go mid-season, start somewhere next week
if you can convince them to.
Yeah, and they haven't played 4 games yet, so you could go in redshirt, and this year doesn't even have to count for you.
Wow. Yeah, kind of early to pull the trigger like that, for real.
Well, UCLA, got blown out at home by New Mexico.
Yeah. Well, remember his press conference? Was it Deshaun Foster? Is that who it is?
Yep.
Oh, man. Talk about unpolished. He made no sense.
Yep.
So I'm not surprised that they, somebody woke up and said, this is just not it. It's just not the guy.
Well, if you saw they had, a few hundred people watching that game at the Rose Bowl, it was probably more than a couple thousand, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not good.
Nope.
But yeah, USF, I'm not shocked. But USF has 2 wins over top 25 teams, or at the time they were. And you go lose at number 4 Miami, or 5, whatever it was at the time.
Yeah, no shame in that, right? No.
Yeah, you got blown out, but you're not ranked anymore?
Yeah, that makes no sense. That makes no sense to me. What people were saying before that game is like, imagine a world where USF beats Miami. They were also, well, not all, but some were suggesting they should be the number 1 team in the country. Number 1 team because they beat 2 top 25 opponents back to back, and this would be the 3rd straight win. Well, if that's your logic, why are you going to drop them out of the poll altogether because they lose to a really good Miami team? And by the way, this is a really good Miami team.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have many big holes, I don't think.
No, I agree. And like I said, you lost at number 5,
and
now they're number 4. But at number 5, okay, so it was a bigger loss than you'd hope. But really,
Yeah, no, that makes no sense. And the polling thing, we had that situation with the girl last week
Yeah.
that screwed up or whatever, and I don't get too stuck on stuff like that. But if you're going to have people do it, make sure they take it seriously, because it does affect some things. Well, what if they were to win out, the rest of the way in their conference and whatnot? Are you telling me they're not that
Well, if they
power?
keep winning, they'll get back in the poll. I mean,
I
it's
would hope so.
because
Yeah,
other teams are going to lose. I mean, these teams, there's so many teams that are 3-0 right now because they haven't faced anybody yet.
yeah, and eventually you're going to play Florida State too, right? Yeah.
No, USF's not. No.
Or
But,
USF. I'm sorry. Yeah,
yeah.
no, USF won't.
But I
That's
mean,
right.
all these other teams that are, sitting at 20, 21, 22 in the poll, they're going to fall out. They're going to lose. They're going to,
Yeah, there'll be teams above them, sure.
yeah. If USF goes and wins the conference, they're probably your group of 4 or 5, whatever it's called now, entry into the playoff. I mean,
Yep.
even if they have one more hiccup along the way, as long as you win the conference with their resume.
Mm-hmm. Well, those 2 wins are going to not go anywhere. This is going to help them,
exactly
all the way. I mean, losing again, okay, you lost to Miami, but you got 2 top 25 wins, and especially the one at Florida. Although it may turn out, and Florida is not going to help them much, at least in terms of record, but it may turn out Florida only wins 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would change.
Yeah. And DJ Lagway had a rough night.
Oh, wow. I kind of regretted doing this, but I said at the time, like, I just don't think he's very good. And that's because I don't think he's very good. But then I got to thinking about it, like, it is entertainment and they get paid sometime, many of them and whatnot. But, like, man, it's a young guy that you're just kind of trashing, And then I thought,
well, I think you left off a word. He's not good yet.
He's not good yet.
It doesn't mean he'll get there, but you can't write him off either.
That's a great question is, like, do we know how good the quarterback's coach is? Do we know who's developing these guys? Because to me, that's the thing, right? Like, there's been a lot of quarterbacks come into the NFL. I mean, Tom Moore was Peyton Manning's first quarterback coach with Indianapolis. Tom Moore knows what the hell he's doing.
Yep.
Peyton Manning turned out to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But you know what? Early in his career, he set an NFL record for interceptions. His first year.
We talk all the time. Like, when you come in the NFL, a lot of your success is based on where you end up.
Absolutely. Absolutely is.
Is your coaching staff competent? Is your front office competent? Is the players around you good? Like, so much of your success, it's the ultimate team sport.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of your success is not just you. It's based on everybody around you, including the support and coaching and everything else. Like, to write off DJ Lagway now, no. I mean, does he have skills? Yes. Can he become a really good quarterback? He's still too young to write off.
No,
either way. Like,
yeah, no, I wouldn't. He could pop up in 1 or 2 places between now and when he's done.
Going to LSU is not an easy place to play, and that's a good LSU team.
Yeah, it is. Even though Brian Kelly likes to jump the media.
Yeah. Well, but they're still in that game. I mean, how many picks did DJ throw, and yet they're still in that game.
It was a 1 or 2 score game the whole way. Yeah. I mean,
there's something to be said for that too. Like,
yeah, they did. They fought. I mean, they didn't score points, but they certainly fought. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm not a Lagway. I didn't think he was good last year. I think he's too inaccurate. I think he's not twitchy enough. I think he's slow to make decisions. Clearly doesn't take care of the ball the way you want him to. So I don't know what's going to happen there at Florida. I don't think they're going to fire the coach anytime soon, because I don't think you want some interim guy coming in here and having to run the gauntlet of those teams that are coming up.
Well, and the other part is your players can enter the transfer portal now.
They're all going to go. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't have to wait till the end of the season. They can go now.
That's right. They'll be picking up players and coaches and all of that. And
long before they know who the next coach is, they're gone.
Absolutely.
And then what do you do the rest of the season?
Yeah, man, it's tough. But, it's still a hell of a start. And, what they've done is pretty spectacular. College football has got the haves and have-nots, and always will. It always will. It's going to be tough for a, non-Power 5 school to rise up and do some stuff. But Golish, I'll say this, man, they got more attention nationally than I've ever seen, ever. Like, from every publication, broadcast outlets, all of that. It's been kind of a fun ride. So we'll see how they handle. They've handled winning 2 games in a row really well. Now we'll see how they handle losing to Miami. Because the one thing you don't want to do is just assume that everything's going to come easy to you after this.
Well, the good thing is you get South Carolina State this weekend.
That is a good thing. That's a very good thing. You should handle them for sure.
Yeah. And then you'll get into conference play after that.
Yeah. So that'll be good enough. All right. Well, we got to get off to Houston, Texas. I'm flying up there day of game. Or lucky me, about a 22-hour day awaits. So want to remind you guys, go see our friends at Breitling Boutique, International Plaza Mall. That's where you find the beautiful Switch watches, NFL 104th year anniversary watches, all 32 teams with a team watch. It's Breitling Boutique, International Plaza Mall. Please make sure you let them know that you heard about it right here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. We'll be back tomorrow with recapping the Bucs at Houston game. Thanks for listening. For Steve Versnick, I'm Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times. Have a great day, everybody.